You check your bank balance in private. Because you can't stand the way your own reflection looks in the blue light of the screen. It's not the number that hurts. It's the fact that the number is a precise measurement of every time you folded, every time you chose the path of least resistance, every time you told yourself that later was a real place on a map. In this video, you will learn exactly why that number hasn't moved. But it won't be because I gave you a strategy. It's because I'm going to show you the person you become when no one is watching. You're sitting there now. Maybe your thumb is hovering, ready to flick upward if this gets too heavy. That's your first mistake. That twitch in your hand is the same twitch that keeps you broke. It's the constant, desperate need to escape the present moment. Because the present moment feels like an indictment. You wake up and the first thing you do is seek a hit of someone else's life. You scroll. You see the cars, the glass offices, the travel, the freedom. You tell yourself you're researching or getting inspired. But we both know that's a lie. You're just anesthetizing the pain of your own stagnation. You're watching people play the game while you sit in the bleachers, complaining about the price of the ticket. Then you start your day. You're busy. Oh, you're so busy. You answer emails. You move papers. You attend meetings that could have been a thought. You go through the motions of productivity while carefully avoiding the one or two tasks that actually scare you, the tasks that would actually move the needle. You choose the urgent over the important because the urgent doesn't require courage. It just requires your time. And you've been convinced that your time is infinite. It's not. The sun goes down and you're tired. Not the good kind of tired, the kind that comes from a day of meaningful labor. No, you're drained. You're hollow. You feel like you've run a marathon in a hamster wheel. So you reward yourself. You eat something that makes you sluggish. You watch something that numbs your brain. You tell yourself you'll start the real work tomorrow, Monday, next month. After the new year, the right time is a ghost you've been chasing for years. It doesn't exist. You're waiting for a feeling of certainty that never comes to people who haven't earned it. The enemy isn't the economy. It isn't your boss. It isn't the fact that you weren't born with a silver spoon. Those are just the stories you tell your friends over drinks, so they don't have to feel bad about their own failures either. It's a pact of mediocrity you've all signed. The real enemy is the deal you make with yourself every single morning. The deal that says, I will trade my potential for comfort today. You lie to yourself with such precision that you've started to believe it. You say you're waiting for more capital. You say you're waiting for the market to change. You say you're waiting to find your passion. Passion is the consolation prize for people who are too afraid to work. You don't find it. You build it through the friction of doing things. You hate until you're the best at them, but you don't want friction. You want a smooth ride. You want the reward without the calluses. You think being poor is about the absence of money. It's not. It's about the presence of a specific kind of mental rot. It's the belief that life is something that happens to you, rather than something you extract from the world through sheer force of will. You've become a spectator in your own biography. Think about the last 3 years. Go ahead. Close your eyes for a second and look at them. What has actually changed? Your clothes are a bit older. Your excuses are more refined. Maybe you have a few more subscriptions, but the core of you, the hunger, the output, the risk, it's exactly where it was. You've just gotten better at pretending that planning is the same thing as doing. Time isn't just passing, it's screaming. Every minute you spend in this lukewarm state of almost trying is a minute you are burning. The only currency that actually matters. You can always make more money. You can never make more Tuesday. And yet, here you are, floating. You're terrified of failing, so you don't even try, which is the most efficient form of failure possible. You're so worried about looking stupid to people whose opinions you don't even respect that you've surrendered your future to maintain a reputation of potential. He's so talented, they say. If he ever really applied himself, he'd be dangerous. You love hearing that, don't you? It's your favorite drug. It allows you to feel the warmth of success without ever having to step into the cold reality of the work. You'd rather be a could have been than a tried and failed. Because if you try and fail, you have to admit you weren't good enough. But if you never try, you get to keep the illusion of greatness intact. That illusion is what's keeping you broke. It's the ego. It's the vanity of thinking you're too good for the entry-level struggle. You want the crown, but you're disgusted by the dirt. You want the bank account of a shark while maintaining the habits of a goldfish. It doesn't work that way. The universe doesn't care about your intentions. It doesn't care about the vision board in your room or the quotes you have saved on your phone. It only responds to output. It only recognizes the person who is willing to be embarrassed, exhausted, and lonely for as long as it takes. The price of staying the same is starting to get very, very high. Look at the people 10 years older than you who made the same choices you're making now. Look at their eyes. The light went out a long time ago. They stopped fighting and started settling. They call it being realistic. Is it not realism? It's a slow-motion suicide of the soul. Is that what you want? To wake up at 50 and realize that the big thing you were going to do died in the crib because you were too busy scrolling through someone else's vacation photos? The pressure is building, whether you acknowledge it or not. Every day you don't act, the wall gets a little higher. The mountain gets a little steeper. The habits of laziness get a little deeper. You aren't finding yourself. You are creating yourself. And right now, you are creating a person who is comfortable with being a footnote. You are constructing a life out of almosts and somedays. Stop waiting for the inspiration. Inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us just get to work. You don't need another book. You don't need another course. You don't need another sign. You need to look in the mirror and admit that you are the reason you are where you are, not the system, not your parents. You. The moment you accept that you are the villain in your own story is the moment you become the hero who can change it. But you have to kill the person you are today to become the person you want to be tomorrow. Most people aren't willing to do the funeral. They want to keep their vices and their comfort and just add success on top like a garnish. It doesn't work that way. It's a trade. Success demands everything. It demands your sleep, your social life, your ego, and your safety. It demands that you be okay with being misunderstood. It demands that you be okay with being alone. If you aren't willing to pay that price, then stop complaining about the results. Be honest. Say, I value my comfort more than my freedom. At least then you'd be living in the truth. But if you're still listening, if there's still a part of you that's vibrating with disgust at your own stagnation, then do something. Not tomorrow, not after this video. Now, the silence is coming back. And in that silence, you have to live with the person you've built. Make sure that person is someone you can actually stand to look at. Now, decide if this conversation was worth having. If it was, stay close. If not, go back to the scroll. I can help you build the discipline you're lacking. You know where to find me.